what's going on, you beautiful people? We're back with another rebuild here on Madden 24. And, of course, this is not our franchise. Obviously, we have a plan to use this Bears team for an online user 32-man franchise, but that will be coming a little bit later. I'm not exactly sure when. Obviously, it takes a little while to get people into it and all that, and it takes a while to get the games played, all that good stuff. But we will be using this team, so I decided, you know what? I'm going to rebuild this team. I want to see maybe the trajectory of this squad and see if maybe there's some things we can, pick up on and say, oh, you know what? This team, it does really well when you get like a really good DT year one. I don't know the plan, but obviously we know about the Bears having the number 1 overall pick. We know about the question marks of Justin Fields. We know about the receiver threats, which just did not exist last year. We know about that front four, the defense that's just not very good in general. But what we don't know is what Justin Fields can do with talent. Now, I'm not going to say the offensive line is built, but they definitely have improved it, right? Tevin Jenkins moving to guard was an amazing move, and he looked like a brand new player. He looked great. Braxton Jones looks like a very promising tackle. Whitehair has been a pretty, solid, above average, slightly above average starter for most of his career. Nate Davis is pretty good for the Titans. I mean, a little bit of a down year, but still a really good addition for them, especially when you look at what the market looked like. And then Darnell Wright, a tackle that's super strong, and I actually really like him a ton. Although, as a Packers fan, kill me, don't kill me. I can, unbiasedly rate teams, as I'm going to say a statement here that you would maybe be surprised by from a Packers fan. But this Bears team was super fun to watch. I mean, can they or can't they or will they or won't they is super fun as well. And obviously the Packers had that last year where it was like, oh, can they do it? They might make the playoffs. That was fun. But as far as pure electrification goes, the Bears probably were the number 1 team for a number 1 overall pick in excitement levels that maybe I've ever seen. Justin Fields, super fun to watch with the running ability, and it was an offense that was actually kind of fun to watch, even though the defense was a disaster. Justin Fields gets an incomplete so far in his career, as he has really not had a chance because his talent around him has just barely been able to be legally called talent. Darnell Mooney is obviously a great player, but he isn't, even though he can go up and get the ball, right? Like, he can go up and get it even though he's a smaller receiver. They really needed a true number 1 wide receiver, and boy, do they get one in DJ Moore. I mean, obviously, we've been hearing crazy things in training camp about DJ Moore, and he obviously had that crazy screen pass that he took the distance. He is a baller. He is a true champion, and he has had some pretty bad quarterbacks in his time. I don't think I can say Justin Fields will be one of them. I think if the offensive line is as improved as it looks to be, this Bears offense, at least, could be lethal. Obviously, they led the league in rushing yards last season. Can't say the same about passing game, but once again, the options just weren't there. Mooney was injured quite a bit, and having guys like Pettis and Equinemius being starters is not a good game plan, but adding DJ Moore, having Claypool, even though he's still kind of like more of a frame than he is an actual talent, and then Tyler Scott, the burner, they actually have quite a bit of talent. They went from bottom 3 wide receiver group to top probably 10, assuming Mooney's healthy and playing like he normally would be. Cole Kmet's obviously a more than serviceable starting tight end, slightly above average, I would say. And then Herbert, obviously we all know about the yards per carry. It's hard to tell what'll happen when he's the premier back and he's not coming in when, David Montgomery's tired or, I guess, to be fair, injured, which was a very common thing. But Deontay Foreman, another really good backup running back, could be the starter for you as well. Deontay Foreman is almost the poster child for why running backs aren't getting paid right now. Dude really doesn't get paid, and dude can do what a starting running back can do. He is a very good running back, and it's guys like him that keep that running back position, for the most part, on the cheaper side, or more or less on the less guaranteed side, as we're seeing, contracts that maybe they're $1 million, 8 or 9 mil, but it's a 1-year deal now instead of the 4-year 60 or something you used to see. They got Roshan Johnson, a super fun guy to watch, hard to tackle, but as far as a Madden standpoint goes, even though I probably will give him a chance in our Bears franchise because I just love a good trucking back, that speed is really brutal. Obviously, when it comes down on, late in the game, all you got to do is just not fumble, waste a little bit of clock. Maybe he comes in with that 95 carrying, but fun guy to watch in real life. Could still be something in real life, but as far as Madden goes, there's just some things that are kind of unusable. And I suppose, I kind of take it for granted because I've looked at a lot of the rookies already, but maybe some of you guys actually don't know what the rookies look like. So Tyler Scott, this is what he looks like. Definitely serviceable, but still a guy that you definitely have to develop. Also has the drops passes trait, which kind of sucks. I don't know how much it matters this year, but previous Maddens, it really didn't seem to matter too much, so hopefully that's the case again this year. Obviously, Cole Kmet with that 4-year 50, kind of locked in with him for the most part. And then Darnell Wright, the massive Goliath strongman, very athletic, and has a pretty good rating, especially in that pass block power department. Almost debate that if, you find a different tackle or you find, somebody else, maybe you move him to guard. He is a little hefty for that size, but he's got the athleticism and the power blocking, at least in Madden, to do it. So that is an option for us, especially if he's given up a billion sacks, but we'll see. And then we move on to the defensive side of the ball. Another really good draft pick, another guy that, you can call a steal, if you will, is Tyreek Stevenson. The Bears need a corner. The whole NFC North has been very corner deficient. Like Jair, if you take away Jair, there's pretty much nothing but mid in the entire division. Tyreek Stevenson, a lot of potential here, and he's going to be our number 2 corner as he has the speed for it, and obviously his ratings are not bad. And then you look at a guy like Kyler Gordon. Sure, there's still potential there in real life, but in-game, it is very hard to work with. In a rebuild, perhaps, but as far as our usually goes, I will have him on the block just in case somebody really likes him or they think they can turn him into something. Kind of projects more as a safety, which, if I'm not mistaken, I thought I heard about him taking reps at that position. I don't know, but the speed for a user league, maybe the slot, but man, that is brutal as a boundary corner. And then obviously another guy that is kind of lacking on the speed department is Jalen Johnson. This is kind of the reverse of the Justin Fields situation. I can't really judge the corners on this team because how do you play coverage when you have no pass rush? I don't know the physical stats for, hurries and pressures, but I would imagine, just based on the names this team has, it is a bottom 3, if not the very worst pass rush team in the league. Front 4 is terrible. Arguments that maybe instead of, making the trade downs that they did, instead of going for Darnell Wright, maybe you should have went for Jalen Carter. I really think they probably should have, and we'll see if that bites them, but at the same time, I really do like the idea that the Bears are like, okay, we have a lot to do here, but what we're going to do is we're going to see if Justin Fields is the guy. We can't balance both teams. We'll have crap on both sides, but we can build up this offense, and we'll be able to tell if Justin Fields is the guy or not, at least protect him while we're building the roster. And I think that's a really smart decision. Jaquan Brisker, the safeties around there are actually pretty good. Obviously, Brisker's on the younger side still, obviously. And Eddie Jackson, up and down seasons. He's great one year, bad the next. Great, bad, great. I think he's actually had 2 good seasons in a row now. So Eddie Jackson's, he's been a pretty good player for the Bears over his career. And obviously it's reflected in those ratings. And then linebackers, obviously the big talking point of this offseason besides DJ Moore and the in general trade down from pick 1 is Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. I believe if you add their contracts together, it's slightly more than Roquan, but you also add that second round pick in there. They chose some really good players. So, did I call him? No, I didn't. I did call him Tremaine Edmonds. Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards both had great seasons last year. And as far as a Madden standpoint goes, these guys, specifically Tremaine, are insane. I like those moves. There wasn't really a whole lot going for, the D-line or anything. Maybe they still try to trade for Chase Young or something, but they did about as much as you could. They really turned this roster around pretty quickly, and they also have the extra draft pick to show for it. The Bears finally doing something right, and we're going to see how quick we can actually continue to right this ship and likely, deal with that defensive line first. But we'll see what happens here. And if you guys have been enjoying the content here on the channel and in general, you like rebuilds, you like franchise stuff, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe if you're new, as I'm going to do a ton of franchise stuff this year, obviously. So far, so good with plenty of content. And if you're not new, I really, 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 really do appreciate you sticking around. It means a ton to me. And yeah, let's get into this rebuild. Also, while you're down there, maybe let me know what team you want to see next. Do you want to see the Seahawks? I've seen a lot of those comments. It might be the next team I do, actually. You want to see the Panthers? Something, let me know. Let me know. And then 2 more things. I'm going to keep all of this on normal, but I will admit, I think we really should, at the minimum, raise the defensive ends and linebackers. The problem with linebackers is I want it to be edge rushers. That's one of the big problems is edge rushers, but I'm not going to change it for this one because that's a direct line, influence because we really need that position. But outside of this rebuild, I mean, it's one of the positions that the last couple of Maddens have been really lacking on. And then for the other sliders that I've been debating on changing, if it ever goes to, is the trade option, which I might... Where the hell is it? I've been debating on making the trade difficulty hard when we're going for user, like player trades. And then as far as the motivation, I think low makes more sense. Maybe not none, but low, because we know how dumb it is. But for right now, I'm not going to change that because I just want to gauge your guys' interest. But let's now finally get into this rebuild. All right, 89 mil. Jalen Johnson, I would assume, is basically a franchise corner. I mean, getting Kyle Fuller vibes a little bit. Like when he's on, he's really good. But if he's not great, then, I mean, just like any player, he's not great. And then Darnell Mooney, I think, needs a contract. So we'll probably do a 4-year deal here because he's a slot type. He's not like a true X. And I don't know. I feel like those guys are the kind of guys you don't give like a 5-6 year deal to, even though pretty much everyone's exclusively signing 4 years at that position anyways. Travis Gibson did have star, but his ceiling wasn't great anyways, so I started someone else. And then Chase Claypool in real life, it would be a hell of a bad decision on the trade. The ceiling was there, but he just never reached it. And I imagine he's having a pretty bad season because he's our number 3/4 right now. I think we let him go. I think we take the insanely large L. He's not even playing at all. We take the insanely large L that is Chase Claypool and call it. And of course, Justin Fields will need the 5th-year option, which you give to the quarterback every time. That's the one 5th-year option. Realism or not, you always give the 5th year to if it is a guy that you are, kind of teetering on keeping or actually keeping. And also, maybe I should have started Claypool, but I'm kind of thinking that Bears franchise mode of what I'm going to do. There's a 90+% chance that I trade Chase Claypool right out the gate. I really just like DJ Moore, Mooney, and Scott as the options. I would like someone taller, I guess. Chase Claypool fits that, but at 25 normal because he's not star anymore, it's kind of tough to develop him. I've used him before in the past, but I suppose for this realm, especially since we're losing anyways, we're going to change the lineup up and see if Chase Claypool can turn it around. And if he can, I guess we start him. I maybe should have just started him out the gate, but at the same time, like I said, I don't know if I really want Chase Claypool anymore. In real life, there's plenty of times he's young. In game, that's completely different. All right, so the team turned it around a little bit, but it's still a very bad season, pretty much similar to last year, despite the fact that they vastly improved, specifically the offense. I guess I'll show you the win-loss. I don't really have a reason to lose early. We already have... I kind of figured we missed the playoffs, so that would have been a top 15 pick likely, and then we have the other first-round pick from the Panthers, so didn't really need a good pick, but I think we did end up getting the top 3 pick, and maybe even first pick overall yet again, back-to-back years, which definitely would be significant. Obviously, I'm looking for edge, I'm looking for DT, so if there's a god-tier player, generational, whatever, sitting there in that spot, I will be taking them. But at the same time, 14 passing touchdowns. And I'm supposed to rock with the playbook that they give me because I'm cheesing if I use something that actually gives you something in the 30s for touchdowns. That's less passing touchdowns than Fields had last year, and he had no receivers. And then the rushing numbers are super mid, too. Herbert wasn't great, but running backs are usually pretty bad in sim. Maybe we give Roshan a chance next season. Maybe I should have started him this year. After the struggles, he actually had a pretty good yards per carry as a backup. Trucking backs, power backs kind of seem like the better guys this Madden. I'm going to look at based on the ratings that are the stats that the players had here and then change the playbook accordingly to something that's kind of fitting. If there's a team that maybe ran the ball with the quarterback a little bit, maybe 400 or 500 yards and then passed the ball decently well because this is a Bears team that will be throwing the ball a lot more than they have in the past. Still going to run the ball, obviously, because they have pretty good running backs and Justin Fields is a threat, but they've got to put up better numbers than they did last year, and there's no way around it. That's just simply put, if they have a 14 touchdown, 8 interception season and there wasn't major injuries to the O-line or the receiving group, you got to argue that Fields isn't the guy. That's really the only other thing you could do. 32nd in offense, 31st in defense, and I'm supposed to just lay down and live with it because, that's the Bears, playbook. It's coded to be certain playbooks are good while the other ones suck, but you know what? You're supposed to play through that. It doesn't matter. We got Rookie of the Year with Tyreek Stevenson, which is pretty sick, and then other award wins did not exist, sadly. But looking at those other teams, I kind of want to see, maybe the Bills. Really good touchdown numbers. Rushing wasn't really where I'd want it to be. Then you obviously have the Ravens, which would be really bad passing touchdowns, I imagine. Very good rushing numbers. I think Baltimore. We're going to give Baltimore a chance next season. These are the kind of numbers I would kind of expect from Chicago next year, so definitely want to try that out. They have a pretty good tight end as well, so, I think the offense for the Ravens is what we're going to give a chance to. And is there any other team I'm trying to think that would, run the ball? Maybe the Falcons, perhaps, with their quarterback. You got Ritter. He's got some moves. Obviously, the Eagles as well. Ritter didn't really run the ball much, so we want to run the ball, but we also want our quarterback to run the ball a lot. Eagles, surely there should be some numbers there for the running back or the quarterback rushing. So Ravens, if that doesn't work, then Eagles, and if that doesn't work, I'm running one of the pass-heavy playbooks, and no one's going to stop me. People in the comment section believe, well, you ain't going to stop us from leaving either. But yeah, I don't want it. I get it, right? It is sucky using kind of the same playbooks every year, but it is, and I maybe went a little hard on the dude that, said, oh, straight to the cheese, come on, man, do better, whatever. But, it's really the only option. There's a reason why we see the same teams winning the Super Bowl 9 times out of 10, because the playbooks mean so much in Sim, and it sucks that that's the way it is, but it's just like real life, You got these rich billionaires that are making all the money on the backs of the workers, and it's really sucky, and it's greedy, and it's really terrible, but there's no alternative. We're forced to play the game, We're forced to play the game. What are you going to do? What's the alternate, If there's something, it's the way or the highway, and that's how it's going to go, you got to conform. That's the way it goes. Don't know where that just came from, but it existed. Let me tell you, I said it. We went through the whole thing together. We just had trauma. We just created some trauma and some drama. Looking at the winner of the Super Bowl is the Eagles. Probably should have won it last year. Mahomes did the Mahomes thing, and, the Eagles defense kind of got torched up a bit, which was really shocking to see, and they were able to beat the Eagles, but this time the Eagles playing the Bengals, and they end up winning the game. Let's take a look if we had any dev-ups. I don't think there would have been any on offense, but defensively we should have had a couple, especially with, well, maybe not a couple, but at least Tyreek Stevenson. Dev-ups, any? It does not appear to be so. Of course, Claypool had a very bad season. I know he didn't start, but he definitely did not have a good season, even when you consider, we started him for, 7 or 8 games. His numbers for 7 or 8 games was not adequate. 253 yards, 1 touchdown in 7 games is extremely poor. And then defensively, we actually had a lot of dev-ups. I did not expect to get this many. Tyreek Stevenson, I probably shouldn't even show because we obviously know he is a superstar because of the Rookie of the Year award win. I suppose since I'm here, I'm going to go with the upgrade. The menus, the UI is still insanely slow. I'm glad there was a maintenance update that did not address that. Oh, my Lord. I was going to see what he's missing, but it seems to be zone. I'm just going to go with slot anyways, so I don't even know why I checked. 88 overall, or 78 overall. Was that a +2 in overall? I thought he was 76 and then got +2. I don't even know. But Superstar Dev, that's pretty insane. Really good rookie. Really good rookie. First year was not bad. Let's take a look at the defense. Got both of the big names that were added in this latest free agency offseason period getting to Superstar. And then, of course, Jaquan Brisker, a guy that actually struggles to get his zone coverage up usually in Sim because of that run support. I don't hate it, though, as long as it's not hybrid. Hybrid is where you can't get upgrades at all, pretty much. But progression history, Superstar development traits. And then the 2 linebackers, Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. More important for TJ Edwards to get this because his overall, he's still pretty low, but his overall, considering his age, is still pretty damn low. But I guess that didn't really matter because that didn't really even go up that much anyways. A little bit of block shed, a little bit of zone coverage, so pretty good year for him. And obviously that Superstar dev. And then obviously if I was going to force any devs, it would have been it would have been Edmonds instead of Edwards because Edwards is, maybe not the best long-term guy, even with Superstar, but I guess since we're here, we'll show you guys, the dev up. I just hate going through all these menus because of how slow the UI is right now, but If it puts my mind at ease, puts your mind at ease, it is what it is. But yeah, the playbook's going to be changed to at least offensively, to the Baltimore Ravens. Defense might change as well. We'll see. But at the same time, our defense was just, A, they got DevOps, but B, filled with a bunch of really bad pass rushers, which, I mean, that is basically the heart and soul of a defense, right? You need pass rushers. If you have nobody that can get to the quarterback, I don't care what the rest of the team looks like, you are losing games. But here we are at 70 mil. Obviously, Justin Fields with that fifth-year option is the first and foremost issue at hand. And we will be giving him the $27 million option, which is a little more than it kind of advertised to me, but that's obviously the guy we're going to keep around. And then Chase Claypool didn't really play well, and even if he did, his progression is kind of limited. Josh Blackwell, I like the speed, but probably not going to keep him here. Kairos Santos, I actually don't remember how good of a season he had. Did we even look? Let's first take a look at his ratings. He probably regressed. He's 32. Pretty good, actually. Still, kick power's up there, it seems. Stats and contracts. Let's see what he did for kicking. 10 for 14, 71%. Real life, that last season was amazing. This season, though, 10 for 14, we could do equally as good or better in free agency or the draft, so there's no point in re-signing him. Missed 4 out of 14. That's a pretty bad percentage. But here we are in free agency. If we can get a pass rusher, we definitely need to spend the money. I think this is one of the biggest needs, if not the very biggest need. Mari Cooper is an option, but wide receiver, I think right now we're going to chill on. Running back is potentially an option. I actually thought the Bears would have been a team that maybe would have targeted Dalvin Cook, but didn't. Christian Wilkins, we do need D-line, but I don't think that's going to be our guy. We just recently got Josh Allen, so I'm going to try to limit the duplicates as much as I can early on. Queen, don't really need a linebacker that bad. We already just paid a bunch for linebackers. I think this team really needs a pass rusher. I don't know if Clowney's going to be the guy. And then Dalvin Cook, running back, 29 years old, looks to be about a 3-year 30 if you're going to get any of these guys. I kind of want to see how well Dalvin played, though. Obviously, his Jets contract is a 1-year deal after all. And he was pretty damn good, like his main portion of his career. He's 29, but we honestly are so desperate that we're going to give him the contract, a 3-year 30, which is insane value for him at this point in his career, but based on the motivations, it's kind of the way you have to go. Any other running back that may be worth it instead, though? Because I don't like that age, even though he's an X-Factor. Not particularly. Wide receiver's not really going to be someone we're looking for. O-line, we could use a little bit of help, but I think based on those names, I don't really care too much. Clowney would be a nice 1-year name, but do you really care to get to the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, or do you want to develop a young group of players? I think that developing the young group of players is more important. Frankie Louvu, his finesse is really mid. It's really just not easy to find pass rushers. It just isn't. Willie Gay is not even the position I'm looking for, but we do kind of need that position anyways. Pretty mid. I like the block shed. The zone's iffy. That I think we could do better in the draft, especially since we've seen some crazy draft classes lately. Utura Gross Matos is an option, especially since he's actually really cheap. His power and all that is so bad, though. I mean, we have to take edge with the first 2 draft picks or whatever. If we can trade down, get some more value, whatever it is. But can we add, like, Christian Wilkins maybe at the DT spot? Because we really need a DT. But I don't think he really fits what we need anyways. We need more of a pass rusher than a quote-unquote nose tackle, if you will. But I kind of would be willing to try and get him because we need DT so bad. 87 overall, even though he is 28 and he's only star, is very good. I'm not going to offer too much more than that. I think that's where I stand. All right, we have our offers. I mean, I don't know who we're going to get, but Dalvin Cook would be pretty nice. And I would imagine we got him because we're the only team offering him. We did not get Wilkins, but we got Dalvin Cook, and we got ourselves a new punter and a new kicker. Our special teams is fixed, and we have a running back that knows how to get some yards. All right, we're going to be doing the real-life Bears thing. We have multiple edge rushers that we need, and we have multiple DTs we need, and we have pick 2, but Panthers came in with pick 25. They actually had themselves quite the year, and we're going to be moving on. After pick 1, Hayes, I can't remember if he was on my list, but I know there's a lot of edge rushers at outside linebacker, left end, right end. Let's take a look at the trade block, though. See what kind of offers we're getting, and if not, maybe do a manual. I would love to get like 2 picks at like 15 or so. Oh my lord, what am I looking at? This, for some reason, hurts my eyes. Obviously, by the time the Madden season's over, I'll be so used to it, but this is pain. So these are all TBDs because they're not 2024. 2024 4th round. So we'd be moving back 2 spots, but we'd be given to a division rival. But we would be getting a bunch of like a 2nd and a 3rd, which is pretty good. Oh my lord, the Eagles are giving me some picks. I don't know what those picks are worth, though, is the problem. You know, I don't know what the future, like, can I trade the future picks now for, like, value? I don't know what the value is. So I would like to guarantee myself this year's stuff, if they don't mind. Damn, the Bears are the only team with 2 first-round draft picks this year, which is a bit of an L. I think I'm going to move down to the Vikings. They're going to give us 12, which is 10 spots back for a first-round pick next year and like a bunch of 4th, 5th, and 6th or whatever's. Don't know what this is going to be. It probably will be an edge rusher. This is a pretty decent class for edge. And it's actually, I believe, was he 6'4"? I don't know, but going to be slow simming it. To make sure we have edge rushers, I'm going to try to, I think, like 6, 7 edge rushers I think we have on my list. But yeah, so far so good, as nobody's really taking them. I mean, mathematically speaking, it kind of seems like we're set. Like I said, I had about 5 or 6 of them. The fact that nobody's taking them is a pretty good sign so far. Hewitt was one of the higher guys for sure. I think Alexander's probably the guy I want the most, so hopefully his name doesn't get called. But we definitely will have someone at 12. Question is, do I want to take them at 12? Because they're kind of falling. I mean, Edge is falling here. And even though he's a 1 or 2, I'm going to take Will Alexander, 21 years old, 6'4", pretty damn athletic, and I'm hoping for hidden. Please. And he's hidden. Nice. 85 speed, 89 excel, kind of giving Will Anderson vibes a little bit. But I think with this look, with how many talented players we have, I think I will be trading this down, trying to get as much around pick 10 in the 2nd round picks as I can get. Atlanta's giving me almost exactly what I wanted to. I said 40 to 45 is what I'm looking for. Give me a 3rd next year, a 5th this year, and a 7th next year. Really weird the way that's lined up, but we will be taking that trade from the Falcons. I think that's great for both teams. I love the extra slots. We traded a 2nd this, a 5th this, and then a 4th, 6th, and a 6th for 2024 2nd and 3rd round picks from the team that we just traded, which was just the Cardinals. I almost forgot who they were already. I don't know what they got there, but they lost a 3rd round pick, but they gained a bunch of different round stuff. So they got more like variety and quantity, but not as much quality. Did I just lose my guy? Or was James Givens actually the 1st round guy? He was, wasn't he? Damn, he was still there. That's crazy. I still think the other corner was better anyways, but still. DeAndre Little is a need as well. We need linebacker pretty badly, but we also have these other linebackers. So I think, first and foremost, we go for the pass rusher if he's still there, which I'm praying. Mr. Kyle Hutchins with an A power move. Pretty damn good athleticism for the size as well. 6'5", 280 with a 4'6", 340. So he's going to be our choice. Hoping he's a starter. And he's hidden. Nice. With the strength on top. He's insanely athletic at 280. Another really good draft pick right there. I mean, this is tough. I have to go with Gray, though. He's 6'4" with an A-man, B-zone. Amen. 21 years old. He's obviously 6'4". What's the 40 and all that? Pretty good. Could be normal, but I'm taking the risk. And he's hidden. I mean, what do you want from me? Look great with the key potentials, key ratings, whatever you want to call them, and he crushed it. He's him. And even though I thought that linebacker Little looked amazing, I got to go pick one, as we just don't have really the trade pieces. We still have so much we could trade for in the 3rd round, and yeah, I couldn't do it. So we went and passed on him, and oh, he's still there. Okay, DeAndre Little. 2 to 3 still there. I don't care what his dev is. He looks insane. 4'5", 140 with all those key ratings. And another hidden 4'5", 140 is 86 speed. I don't really care because he's insane. Hidden development trait. Key ratings were insane. Welcome to the team. That is a killer set of draft picks so far. If his 40 is like even halfway decent, which it definitely won't be at that size. Damn, he's strong, but he is not fast. Yeah, I got to go for a DT that's actually athletic, sadly, which I suppose right now, actually, we only have one DT in general. So we have to go with Caleb Gibson, who, if I'm not mistaken, is actually on the weaker side, but it is what it is. He has Dave Finesse. He's 21 years old. I'm going to take the risk. And another hidden, and he is lower strength, like I said, but Fell for the A finesse, and it was not really falling for anything because it was a great pick. All right, 2 fourths and a fifth for a third-round pick from the Raiders. I might even try to go for another after this. We need a DT. I don't know if I can start a 391-pounder at DT2 and a 4-3. That seems wildly unrealistic, but the heart wants what the heart wants sometimes, to be honest with you. I do need a lineman as well, and Burnett looks great. I think I go Burnett, and then I take whoever's remaining of Robinson and Chapman. Robinson's even heavier. Let's go with Burnett. Mr. Marcus Burnett looks great. Key ratings, 21 years old. And, of course, the one guy that looks the most sure out of every player that we drafted is normal. Obviously, as you would have drew it up. Oh, you almost caught it. It's so slow when you click A. But a fourth this, a fifth next, and a seventh next for pick 22 from the Browns, which will be the other DT. Obviously, we said Robinson or Chapman, whoever's there. And it appears the big man, Chapman, is there. I don't know, rotate him in and out of the lineup. I don't really care. I just wanted another DT. Brandon Chapman, hidden of helmet trait, 98 strength. He's a big fella. We have the second pick in the fifth round. We have an A deep threat guy with 5'10 size, but 4.24 speed, and wildly enough, a 40-inch vertical. This guy looks kind of crazy. I obviously had to grab him just because he's fast in general. And he's hidden with 98 speed, 99 excel, 97 agility, 94 jumping. Now, EA's definition of a generational player is, high overall X factor. Is that not generational? Well, to be fair, he could be high overall, but with those key ratings, I doubt it. But is that not generational? Looks pretty generational to me. Well, let's take a look at the draft recap, man. I am really, these rebuilds, if they don't fix this UI, I really don't know what I'm going to do. These rebuilds are actually really painful to record right now. Got a lot of players. Holy crap. Not really sure what I want to do. I don't want to show the devs because it takes so long, but I also don't want one of these guys to be like a freaking superstar or an X Factor and be like, he cheated. He changed their dev while he was simming the season. But Will Alexander needs to be put at left end anyway, so I guess we'll take a look at his dev. Left end, dev is star. Okay, so there's that. What number is available? 50? I mean, there's a bunch of legendary numbers on this Bears team. They have the most Hall of Famers all time. So I apologize if I put someone at a number that they can't be in real life because it's already a retired number. I apologize. That's like the most unrealistic part of the rebuild. Someone's like, yeah, all those trades too. Really good man coverage from the 6'4" corner. We've seen a lot of these types of high man 6'4" corners with decent speed. We've seen mainly stars and normals. See what the dev is for my boy. And star development trade. So pretty standard stuff there. I do want to take a look at the DT. The rest, I don't really... Actually, I'll take a look at the wide receiver as well. DT and the wide receiver, the rest we're just going to deal with. Chapman, how good was he? Actually really good at power move, though. Okay, I mean, doesn't look 391, 395, whatever his weight is. To be fair, is he really our DT2? And he's a superstar. 55 for DT is an interesting number, but... yeah, I mean, that's our number 2 DT, I guess. I don't know what else to tell you. Jamal Clinton, what does that deep route look like? 81, jumping's really good, spec catch is really good. I mean, he's kind of, with the speed and excel and agility, he does seem generational-ish, but his overall is only 72. Well, so we'll see what happens here, but if he's an X Factor, I'm calling him generational, obviously. And he's a superstar. I mean, even if he's not generational, he's freaking talented as hell. And that kind of is it for the main guys. I suppose we'll take a look at Hutchins as well. Man, I really hate the UI. The speed of this is so effing bad. I can't believe how slow this is. It is so painful. Star dev, that's all I can do. And his number's ugly. I don't care. I can't. Let's set up the lineup, which takes forever to get into Season 2. Here we go, Season 2 roster, obviously adding some major talent in Dalvin Cook, a guy that we don't know what's going to happen in real life. Maybe he kills it with the Jets and they re-sign him for a couple of years. He sucks and never plays a starting snap again. Obviously, I imagine Dalvin Cook has enough in the tank to be a backup at minimum down the line. Obviously, age will catch up, right? It's kind of crazy to talk about Dalvin Cook as like a backup, but age catches up with these running backs very quickly, and he's up there. He's at that regression point for running backs, but as far as Madden point goes, he should be pretty good, even if I have the regression sliders a little higher for these, running backs that are like 29, 30. Right guard, Burnett gets a start as Nate Davis is, only 2 overalls higher, yet like 5 years older. I really didn't think about how bad our offensive line was long term. I was like, I'll just grab a guard just to replace someone in the future. Like, no, you need to replace that right guard kind of now, and the center basically now as well. Cole Kmet, solid number 1. Receivers I think are pretty good, assuming they play even close to the way they're supposed to. And then this is a very big season for Fields. We have the Baltimore Ravens playbook on. I think by mid-season point we'll be able to decide how much that playbook is really affecting us, and then maybe try a different playbook if it doesn't work. But we're going to try that Baltimore playbook because obviously the Bears isn't going to work. And then defensively, like I said, I've talked a few times about our franchise for the Bears that will be on Online 32 User League. If you guys think this is what's going to happen after year 1, you are smoking crack. We went ham in this. We almost fixed the whole defense literally year 1. Literally year 1. In that league, if I can even get 2 of these players to be blue or 2 of these players to be future guys, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to absolutely bust a nut. A nut is shot if I even get close to this. Yet here we are killing it, and we used a little bit of draft picks, but I think we also have an extra first next year. I think a main part of the reason why that this won't happen for our franchise league when we're actually playing as a team is I don't expect to have anything near pick 2. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be great at the game, but at very best, a top 10 pick with my own user pick. Panthers pick probably will be in the 20s at minimum. So, we're probably not going to end up with pick 2, which obviously ended up being a really good trade down. Got to trade down. Got to trade down. Unless there was a generational type edge rusher, I can't waste it. All right, I got to say, the Ravens playbook actually working out pretty well right now. Khalil Herbert is a backup right now. That isn't bad backup money. Eddie Jackson, I actually don't know if I want to keep him or not. We do have a lot of money right now, but obviously Justin Fields is going to need a contract. Do we not have to pay Justin Fields now? Like, I thought the 5th-year option was for this season, no? I don't even know, but a 4-year 48 for Tevin Jenkins. I'd sign today if there was some way to... Okay, so I am going to turn off that stuff. I'm sorry. I'm making the executive decision. A 4-year 48 for Tevin Jenkins, who is an 80 overall. That would make him one of the highest paid guards in the league. If I'm not mistaken, Zach Martin just got a deal that's like paying him $15 million per year, I believe. And he's been like the best guard in the league for like the last like almost decade. Hasn't played that long, but close enough. I keep showing the league password, but I don't really care. Once I'm done with this rebuild, you guys can infiltrate all you damn want. It don't matter to me. Please don't infiltrate. It matters. But where the hell even is it? There's so many options now, which I'm not complaining about. It's just when it comes down to actually finding the damn thing, it takes me a bit. Also, I didn't remove it completely. I just put it on low. Let's see if this goes. So it still went with it on low. I'm not sure how much of a difference it made, but a 4-year 48 was absolutely fair for him, and I'm glad we got the trade, or the deal done, not the trade. Cody Whitehair, I think, is a guy you let go. He's not asking for that much, but I think we can do better and, do younger, really, which now that I say that out loud sounds pretty sus. We're going to do a 2-year 16. He signs, which once again, based on the safety market, we've seen Gardner Johnson went for like a 1-year 5, I believe, from Detroit. A 2-year 16 for a 30-year-old is way better. And then Herbert, a 2-year 9.2. I completely forgot how much more fun rebuilds were when you didn't have to give, an 82 overall, a 2-year $40 million deal, because they don't like that it sometimes rains in the state that you're playing in. It's just the stupidest thing. I get what they try to do. I appreciate trying to do something new. I just don't think it worked. You win some, you lose some, simply put. I almost just made a huge sell. I was still, going slowly simming, and we got to the playoffs, and I almost went, okay, let's just sim to the playoffs. Let's stop slow simming, and it almost went right to the Super Bowl. But we're in the playoffs at 11-6. We had an okay start, then a really nice win streak. Then we lost a few games, and then, won some games, lost a few games. But it was a very much so better season, obviously, But let's take a look at that season. Show you guys, we didn't force any wins or anything like that. This Madden, especially with the UI, though, I am not going to be doing this much. If it's really unexpected, now that we've shown... Did the coach in the top right just move? Yo. Is he possessed? Is he in the game? I swear he moved. Bruh. Oh, maybe it was just... Okay, so it throws it... I thought he moved. Oh, that threw me off. He did move, though. Look! Look! He's there! Eberflus is there! He's really here! Save me. Oh, man. That threw me off, but... let's take a look at the stats. Justin Fields, much better, but more fieldly. Interceptions may be a little lower than you would expect. 31 touchdowns is pretty damn good. It's higher than you would probably expect, but... With the new team he has around him, these numbers are absolutely possible. And then the rushing numbers are very Justin Fields-like. I think for this Bears rebuild, this is the playbook for us. Dalvin Cook killed it. The receiving numbers are a bit bad, though, I will say. I've moved certain players around. I think Darnell Mooney in the slot just dominated, which I have him and Scott kind of like in that slot role because they're both pretty tiny, but... Yeah, it didn't really work out for DJ Moore, so it might need to be DJ Moore in the slot as well. I don't even know, but blocking was great. Might be just, Fields running around. But this is the playbook for us. Now, defensively, I changed to the Bills halfway through the season, and that seemed to not work at all. Jalen Johnson had a great year, though. That's got to be superstar. And then Dicker, missing 5 out of 17. Not great. Braden Mann, the new punter, a bit better than Gill, but not by that much. And then it seems like we didn't return any kicks all year long. We basically didn't even have a special teams unit. We just didn't do it. From 31 offense to 14th, or was it 32 offense to 14th, and then 31 or 32 defense to 11th, which is mad upgrades. Those are huge upgrades. Taking a look at the awards, MVP did go to Lamar Jackson, so maybe the Ravens playbook is just good. But Fields goes to number 4, which... he has some tools. He's got a better team now. You just never know. As far as award wins go, though, we would not have received any of them besides Best DB, so maybe even X Factor. Who knows? But let's go into the game. The Niners, the 88 overall Niners, they might actually beat us by a significant amount early, but we'll see. I've never really been a fan of the Ravens playbooks, but you know what? They fit the Justin Fields mold. Tight end is pretty good here. It's not Mark Andrews level good, but it's pretty good. I actually really like it. And speaking of, they lost to the Bengals. But obviously you can't win them all. But let's see if the Bears are ready. We did get a lot of really good players. I think it's maybe a season or two early because a lot of the cornerstone pieces are very young and early into their careers. But you just don't know. 10-0, the Niners are just a defense that does not give up points. And right now they are showing us that. We finally get 7, so there is a window. The window's cracked, and that window is slam shut. Holy crap. 24-10, it's not bad, though. The Niners are a very good team. Super Bowl contender year in and year out. The Bears, we're still young. We're still young. Brock Purdy looking pretty bad, doing the Jimmy Garoppolo, doing just as much as they need to from that position to win. Fields, not great, obviously. Cook was okay, but he had a fumble. Fields was okay. You'd expect more from him, though. He's like an 8 yards per carry type of player because, quarterbacks are tough to tackle. They're just not easy to get down or even get to, especially when you have an athlete as crazy as him. Receiving was pretty tame, both sides. 2 touchdowns from Debo, obviously, though. And then sacks from the rookies, but at this point, the whole D-line is rookies, so that's kind of a given. The Bengals are in it, and the Eagles are back in it. I believe they won the Super Bowl year 1. See if you can find out that I'm recording this a day after the first recording. And they lose to the Bengals, so, it's a new name at least. Let's take a look at the dev-ups. We should, like I said, at least see Jalen Johnson. Could even see Justin Fields on this list. Don't, but Cole Kmet does go up in dev. I'm also thinking, I really like, in our Bears franchise where we're actually going to be playing with the team, I think Tyler Scott's going to be a huge player for us. But Clinton is undeniably good, and I think needs to start. 99, 98 speed, whatever. I think he needs to start. Cole Kmet, 83 overall now, superstar dev. He was pretty good. I didn't know if he was going to be good enough for a dev up, but was just good enough, I think. And then defensively, we should see Jalen Johnson. Thought maybe there was a chance he'd go to to X Factor because he had just such a great year. But Superstar Dev, that's great. I don't know what Superstar is. And then linebackers, maybe the XP needs to go up because Edwards, he's 83 overall. I don't know if he's already... Oh, no, to be fair, he's 29. I thought he was 28, but already regressing perhaps. I'm not sure, but he's a superstar, so I thought maybe he would last a little bit longer. That's what she said. But yeah, I mean, pretty good season. We got to the playoffs after a 3-14, 2-pick overall, second pick overall season. Going forward, if we're looking at what we need, a linebacker wouldn't hurt because Edwards is getting up there. A safety wouldn't hurt, even though it's a 2-year 16. Jackson could always be a backup. That's not terrible money for great veteran depth. D-line, maybe you replace Chapman because he doesn't fit the scheme, but at the same time, he's the highest dev guy on the D-line. Also, his player model looks like he's made of clay. And then a center/guard. And then, oh my God, Dalvin Cook just died. Okay, so that slider might be a little crazy. That slider may be a little insane. Wait a minute, I don't even... Holy crap, I don't even have it on. I actually don't even have it on. So Dalvin Cook obviously saved the running game a bit for us, but I really pray that he doesn't regress too much harder because we gave him that 3-year deal. That is a problem. Of course, a guy like Sweat becomes available now, but it's a little too late for that, I think. If we're looking at positions, linebacker wouldn't hurt. Do you pay a guy like Joke? I think you do, honestly. I might actually pay him, trade off Edwards, as he is probably on his last year of his contract anyways. Might be worth like a 5th-round pick. It's tough doing a realistic style rebuild because you kind of have to base it off of what you think and, base it off of real life. Whereas in-game, I think a superstar dev, linebacker of Edwards could probably go for a 3rd, but there's no way in real life he's going for a 3rd, right? So it's tough. But Joke at 26, I think that's a pretty good price. If he's willing to join us, which he kind of seems like, it's a front-runner decision type thing, I would be willing. I'd be down. All right, we targeted Joke and Quinn Miners. A little bit of a low ball on Quinn Miners, so I don't know if he's going to accept. He doesn't. But Joke does, which is a very good contract. That is no joke. That speed is ridiculous. Probably should have looked at his zone coverage, but I imagine it's going to be really high. Yeah, 79 zone coverage is very good. Be nice to get that block shed up, but very, very solid stuff there. And then Quinn Miners, I'm still debating if I want to put the money in because he is actually pretty good. I'd be willing to do a 4-year... Would a 4-year 48 be fair? That might be a little high, actually. So what was he? He's asking for like about 10.5. So it's a little bit higher than I would have wanted, but I'll be willing to take it if he wants to. And he does. So we got 2 really good cornerstone pieces for the future. Once again, maybe a little bit early on the Edwards decision, but it's his final year. He's obviously not progressing because of his age, and he's only regressing. So if I can try to get him traded off for like a 5th-round pick, like I said, or maybe some sort of player, I will be doing it. So looking at the offers, there are some very good players here. We did not lose our backup running back, so we don't really need a running back. A lot of the offers are for older players, though, so I'm kind of cool with that. Carl Lawson might be someone I'd actually go for. I could really use edge depth. And based on the trades, I actually am going to take him. I think Carl Lawson with a 6th-round pick is perfectly fine for both sides. Don't know what the cap hit was there, but the Bears have built up quite the fortune, so I'm not really too worried about it. I'm also going to show you guys that I didn't force any wins for the Vikings because I forgot we got their 1st-round pick, and they were very bad this season, while the rest... it's standings. Way to go, game. And, I mean, it's so slow. Please fix it. Fix it now. It actually, like no joke, it actually is really painful. It's like the main issue I have with the game this year so far is these menus. I mean, I'm not just sitting here looking like an idiot. It's just, it takes that long. It takes that long. It's so slow. But obviously, this is what the Vikings team looked like. Didn't force any wins or losses, obviously. It's just, they gave us a good pick, which... I mean, 2 years from now, the Vikings very well could be like that. Obviously, not every player is going to, every quarterback's going to play till they're 40. Kirk Cousins could have a terrible year this year, or the next year is really bad for him. You just don't know. And in general, they are still a team that is lacking hard on defense. Offense, we don't know what the running backs look like. There's thoughts and talks about Kareem Hunt potentially joining them, but in general, I don't hate their running back room, but it is a drop-off from Dalvin Cook, and the offensive line is pretty good in fairness, but receiving threats, Jordan Addison looks like the real deal, but, You're losing Thielen. I mean, once again, Thielen wasn't great last season, but there's some changes, and they're definitely far from the best roster, but they do have high potential on offense. But like I said, a year or two from now, Kirk Cousins, you just don't know what kind of Kirk Cousins you're going to have. So at the end of the day, they could be a 4-13 team like a year or two from now. All right, so we have pick 3. I don't think he's going to be there anyways, but, actually because he's not going to be there, let me show you him, even though I really can't stand this slowness. I'll try to stop mentioning it, but it's the number one thing on my mind every time I'm doing anything in this game right now. But this quarterback, Jared Younger, looks very good. He looks very good, but I am, going to use Justin Fields. That's kind of the whole point of this, but elite throw power, I don't care really about the strength. Just enough speed to get it done, but a bunch of A's in his key ratings. Could he be generational? Very well could be. I don't know if he is, but there's a chance that he is. But I just can't take him. Obviously, that's just not our need right now, and I think the goal would probably be to trade down to like 15 and maybe take a DT or something. I don't even know. We don't really need a DT, but at this point, we actually did a really good job. They took a quarterback that wasn't Younger. And he's there at 3, dude. No shot. I can't take him. We don't need a quarterback, simply put. I apologize, but even though he looks, okay, the Jets give me what I want. I don't care what the offer is. I just wanted 15. Terrible offer, to be fair, but it is what it is. We're going to knock the trade down. And do the Jets get their franchise QB? They do. So in a way, that was actually pretty tactical, though, because we just traded potentially a generational quarterback to the AFC, because obviously he's going to go somewhere, right? Like, he's going to be taken somewhere, whether it's pick 3 or pick 30. But we pretty much guarantee that he would go to a team with a quarterback need. And there he goes. Of course, corner's also up here. We just don't need a corner, though. Frank Sampson's not even the guy I would look at, but he just, caught my eye, so I looked at it. I think I probably will lower the cornerback class a little bit, because these cornerbacks are literally a dime a dozen. There's so many of them. Boykin actually looks pretty good, too. I had a different safety named Caleb Cleveland, but Boykin looks insane. We could use a safety for the future. Canfield would have been my DT. I think based on who is here, I think I'm actually going to take the safety. It might be a little early for him. The corner's really good too, but I just don't need corner right now. We're going to take Mr. Damian Boykin, who is decently fast as well. 6'1", 22 years old, hidden development trade, 92 speed, 92 excel, 92 agility. Not a bad choice at all. The Eagles are giving me a pretty good trade here, 31 and 63. I really just don't want to manually trade. I was kind of aiming for something that was like a first round next year and a second this year, but instead we just moved down like 9 spots, which is still pretty significant for a late second. And you know what? Call me crazy. Bozeman still. I'm going to take Bozeman, actually. I was going to take the lineman early for the 5th-year option, but I'm going to take best available pick in Josh Bozeman. Maybe I sold. Maybe I didn't. I didn't. Yeah, cornerback going forward I think needs to be lowered. I think the cornerback classes are absolutely busted this Madden, and they need to be lowered. I think we're going to change edge to 1 slot up and then trade off with cornerback 1 slot down. Probably not for this rebuild, though. Just going to let it happen for this one since we're like quarter/halfway through. But Jaden Griffith is going to be my guy. I'm really hoping he's hidden, although if he was normal, it would be like a dodged bullet that we didn't take him in the first, and he's hidden, so maybe opposite of dodged bullet, we could have had an extra season with him as a player without having a long-term sign him. Now we have 22 in the second. I'm not really sure what our long-term picks here look like, but 22 in the second with another draft pick. Can I turn this into something next year, even if it was like a second and a third? And, I mean, it's kind of what I'm looking for, so we're going to be taking this off the Eagles. We get a late third this and a second round next year. That's not bad. Eagles just constantly taking pick 22 from us. I don't know what that's about, but it is what it is. And then this pick, I'm probably going to be taking a DT. If there's one there. There's also a pretty good couple of linebackers, which don't maybe need right now, but the value is just so good. I think maybe you have to take them. Didn't get to fully scout Stevenson, but I imagine an A finesse potential is going to be an actual A finesse. Tight end's pretty decent too. We actually have a lot more players here available than I thought we would. Linebacker is in need, but that guy has so many. I'm going to take the guy. I am, especially when we don't actually need anyone, am always going to take the player that has the highest potential. The guy looks insane, and William Townsend's going to be the choice. He is hidden development trade. A little bit slower than I would have thought. A 4.6 is, somewhat slower, but it did say that he had, great speed. So I thought maybe that would have countered it. Didn't quite. So we trade a third, a fifth, and 2 6 for 69 from the Steelers. I believe our third was 84, so all that to move up like 14 spots, which is fair enough. Did we got rid of 20 though? No, I hate when that doesn't update because it actually like kind of throws me off of what I actually have available next. But with this selection, I intended it to be the DT, but I actually think it's going to be the tight end. Now we don't really need a tight end, but we don't have a good backup. And Kyle Parks looks like a starting level guy. Excel sucks, but everything else looks great. So I'm going to take Kyle Parks, the 6'6", sadly normal development trait tight end, and that poor acceleration was a lie. So yeah, maybe don't look at that left side of the combine tab too religiously. Getting a little greedy, we trade a third this and a fourth next year to move up right after that to the Cardinals pick, which I think will be the offensive lineman, because you can never have too many linemen, and we already have our starters, but once again, you can never have too many linemen. Don't know what the financials look like in the future, but Mr. Zach Barrett, who could be a future center, I don't know, we kind of have that position set, because I might put Quinn Miners there, but looks great, I'm going to take him. Zach Barrett it is, and hidden development trait, not really surprising, but a good player nonetheless, and I think O-line is kind of set for maybe the rest of this rebuild at this point. All right, we trade a third this, a third next, a seventh and this, and a sixth next for a third and a fourth this year from the Buccaneers, which I mean, I don't mind because we have that extra second next year anyways. So I like this trade a lot because it also gives us a fourth round pick, which could be used on a running back likely. So I don't mind it at all, and with this pick, we're going to be taking Jaron Stephenson, maybe even the new DT2, because once again, the DT we've currently been using is more of a nose tackle, but I would hate to like bench a superstar, so Jaron Stephenson, and he is hidden, so there is potential there. Maybe he just sits a season, and then we see how the two DTs play, and whoever's the worst out of the bunch gets benched. I don't know, but that's another really good draft pick. We're killing it right now. The tight end was normal, but everyone else has been hidden. Power back, okay speed, not spectacular though. And another hidden. I thought it was going to be like 89, 90 speed, but 88 speed, 92 excel, and hidden dev. We have talked about it even with the real life rookie class that there is a lot of hidden devs now in Madden for rookies. But these drafts have been kind of absurd. And once again, it's on normal. All right, if I don't say so myself, another pretty good draft. Oh, I thought it was just taking a while to load up again. Okay. Another pretty good draft. See how good, though, because obviously the overalls do matter quite a bit. It's not just about the devs. And, oh, we landed some pretty good overalls. Boykin will be the future free safety. Bozeman, I mean, he's just a backup corner. We have so much talent at the position that we don't even have a spot for him. And then Townsend, we don't even have position for. Yeah, I mean, these draft classes, you know, most of these guys probably aren't going to be superstar, but they're pretty absurd. They really are. I'm kind of curious. I want to take a look at these ratings, but I can't be bothered to click into it every time. It's just so slow. Alrighty, this is not really doing us too much, to be honest. It's kind of still pretty slow, but this is where it makes a lot of sense. So, 77 finesse. He was very high finesse. Block shed was, you know, right where we expected it. 78 block shed for the linebackers. Zone coverage obviously sucks. You knew it's going to be one or the other. 82 man for Bozeman. Safety's, you know, a little more modest, but this is a very good group of rookies. And once again, not quite a first-round pick or a third pick overall of a trade, but added, you know, a little bit more for next year as well with the second-round pick. Maybe even have a first-round pick. I can't remember. And he was generational, dude. Wow. Jared Younger. There's no point in looking at his dev because 99 throw power. Well, the Jets didn't really like Brett Favre too much when he joined them, but they've got a young one now. Holy. But obviously, let's take a look at what are the other overalls that are kind of high in this. So, oh, wow, 78 was the second highest, which we had one of those players. So we actually landed some pretty good players here. And let's actually move Boykin to free safety right now and show you guys the dev real quick while we're at it. But, yeah, pretty good draft class from us. And obviously, you can see with those ratings that it's not generational. You would see so many more 79s and 80s. Not generational, but, you know, the highest class star dev, which is pretty modest, but it is what it is. But I want to find that wide receiver, that 6'6" guy. Supposed to be UDFA. I wonder if he just barely missed. Hey, stop glitching out, man. Let me in. What are you doing? Was not Huggins. What was his name? It's like Loach or something. Roach, 72 overall, 30 years old. 30 years old. That would be pretty bad. Normal dev, but pick 30 in the 5th, so we just barely missed out on him. But you get to see him a bunch because he's in the division. Very raw, but I love this. Oh. Yo, this is weird. He's 6'6", with 99 juke move, 88 spin, 97 change of direction. What is going on? All right, we're on to Season 3. We have made some progress. Obviously, last year was an immediate upgrade from the year before. Dalvin Cook dropped hard off, but that's only an overall, in fairness. But the problem is there's been kind of rumors since last Madden that 90-plus overall running backs are the best that, they perform the best. So the fact that he isn't a 90 overall anymore could spell disaster. Don't know what Waddle's dev is, but because he is younger than Herbert, I'm going to have him as the number 2 because he could be the future at the position. Wide receivers are great. I would love to see a dev up from Mooney, though. And then Cole Kmet, 83 overall. He's getting there, but he's still young enough and will still continue to develop. O-line's amazing now. And then defensively, Townsend's good, but we have so much talent. He just can't start. So we are just set at so many positions right now. D-line, we would love to see an improvement from the actual success of sacks, but this team is killer, and because of how killer it is already, I'm thinking that, once again, the draft pool does need to be lowered a little bit. 112 mil, obviously DJ Moore needs a contract, so does Brisker. Fields needs one. I mean, as of right now, Fields is... I think a guy that we keep around. Braxton Jones, you probably keep. I think you lose Lawson. I think you lose Kyler Gordon even. And everyone else, I think, follows suit. Obviously, the 5th-year option from Darnell Wright seems to be coming. But we, I think, have the money to facilitate all this. 4-year 72 for DJ Moore. He is a pretty good player, but he hasn't really played that well in this realm. Like I said, in real life, I think he's an amazing player. But in-game, he hasn't really performed for us. Brisker, a 4-year 32.8. Then we have Justin Fields to see. So a 5-year 159. He played really well last year. I haven't really paid attention this year. I'm going to do that before I sign this because I want this to be as realistic as possible. But let's take a look. How has my man's played this year? Same scheme as last year because obviously it worked out. And he... definitely a down year, but I'm still willing to pay him, I suppose. 5-year 160, he takes it. I'm a little hesitant now on having it on low. There doesn't seem to really be a good medium, right? Like a 5-year 160, what does that come out to? Is that like 35 per, maybe? I don't even know the math, but he hasn't played that well, in fairness, and his overall is kind of lower, so it, I suppose, does make sense. 4-year 36, he's pretty good. Yeah, I think I might have to put the motivations back on, even though I think they're really dumb. I just don't think there's a good mix. I think when the motivations are on, you have to way overpay, but when they're low, it's just too easy. All right, here we are. There's a chance at the playoffs, but it's extremely unlikely, and... my game froze. No, it didn't. Okay. We finished 6-11. Wow, finished way worse than I thought. It was like 6-8, and then we finished 6-11. The first year, obviously, with the Ravens playbook, pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Second year, not so good. We were struggling on defense again, so I decided to try to move to the Cleveland Browns playbook. We'll see how that played out, but I didn't change anything. I don't want to just depend on these special playbooks, but I have quite literally proven that even though we keep improving the team, we're actually now kind of going backwards because of scheme. If we rock the Chiefs playbook and we make it back to the playoffs and we're really good, I don't know what I can do. I really, I'm almost at a limit at this point. Like, what can I do to make this work if I'm just going to be stuck with the bad playbooks that just don't let you go anywhere? I just don't know. Dalvin Cook was still good, but he was definitely worse than his 90 overall season. The receiving numbers are terrible. We don't even have a 1,000-yard receiver, despite the fact that we have a 90 overall starting wide receiver. Defensively, still pretty mid. Cornerbacks, a lot of picks, actually. Kicking, we had 4 whole field goals attempted. I mean, I don't know what else I can do. I think I have to go to one of the heavier passing attack playbooks. I just don't think there's any other options. I really don't. But let's see if we won any awards. I highly doubt it. Mahomes was the MVP. Okay. And it's not like it's because it's of Justin Fields. He's actually very talented. It's just, I don't know, dude. The playbooks just matter too much. And I think Brock Purdy being the 3rd best quarterback proves that. All right, the 5th-year option for Darnell Wright. He's actually a pretty decent overall right now. 66 mil left over. I don't know if that's after or before that, but either way, it is what it is. And then Dicker's actually been good. It's just Didn't really give him many opportunities. Offense just struggled last year. 2-year 6 is plenty. Oh! Okay, so that right there, I didn't change the motivations. That right there tells me that I am within my right to keep that on. Because that was a yellow interest, and a 2-year 6 for a lower overall kicker is absolutely fair, and he declined it. So it's not too busted. I mean, it's a little bit more in favor for us than it is in them, obviously, but I just think the motivations are just so bad that it just needs to be done. But here we are, headed on to basically year 4. And free agency's looking bad. I like this. Let's go, EA. I don't know if it's the regression or if the teams are actually re-signing their players, but I like it. Way to go, EA. Look at the ages as well. I'm actually impressed. Other than the fact that, you know, the Niners just got rid of their 85 overall, third best in the league, or third best in the AFC quarterback for nothing. You know, pretty good stuff. I can live with this. You know, we're not seeing OP free agent classes, and you know, in general, most of the best franchise players around the league are actually being re-signed. I actually don't know what to re-sign or to draft, though. Maybe edge just for backup, but yeah, other than that, I mean, we're cooking for year 4. We have a really good team right now. I guess, once again, more future-proofing. Oh, I forgot about DevOps. Dalvin Cook is regressing hard. He's the backup at this point. I think Waddle's going to get the start for the future here. Looking at wide receivers, I'm not really liking the progression there, so I might have to bump those sliders. But then again, I can't say that because the wide receivers just aren't getting catches. Defensively, though, Brisker goes to X Factor, Joke and Edmonds go to X Factor. But Brisker, he was like an 84 overall when we re-signed him. Only at 27 now, was 26 the whole year. Just didn't really develop. I don't know what else to tell you, but yeah, it's a learning process. We're going to keep tweaking these rebuilds as we do them and hopefully get it as right as possible. Because once again, we have drafted very solid players, and they're really not performing, but there's not much on my end that I could do about that. All right, I don't have the trade on any easier than normal. I trade Darnell Mooney and a first-round pick to Terry McLaurin. To Terry McLaurin. It's his now. To the Commanders for Terry McLaurin. We now have 2 90-plus overall wide receivers. He's 30. Of course, Mooney was 28. Mooney just wasn't working out. Of course, needed a contract soon-ish. I think he had like 2 years left maybe. But taking the L there, as we got to do something to get this wide receiver room or this pass game going. And, I mean, if he doesn't fix it, I don't know what else to do at this point. So that's who we're going to go for. And I might be looking in the second round for running backs because, I mean, I like Waddle, but is he the premier guy going forward? I don't know. So running back, maybe tight end, perhaps tackle, even though I just paid Braxton Jones. But we'll see. I mean, I think we did a pretty good job. We're just not playing well, which is affecting their progression, which is affecting, in general, us playing well, ironically enough. All right, we do not have a first-round pick, so we went and got a little crazy and traded for Terry McLaurin. All right, I was able to scout more linemen because there's really not a whole lot. This class was actually one of the weaker classes I've seen, but in general, just don't really need a whole lot. There's also this 6'5" corner. I've heard a couple of you guys talking about it. I was like, nah, these guys are trolling. They exist, apparently. I'm going to end up taking Greg Meadows. I don't know if I actually truly believe he's a 1-2, but I guess he's a 1-2. That's according to them. And he is a hidden development trade player, so we are happy with it. All right, so the Raiders are giving me a first-round pick. It's 2 years from now, which is really dumb, but I want a first-round pick for this pick, and that's the only team that is offering me anything near a first-round pick, even if it is 2 years from now. But, hey, when it comes down to 2 years from now, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm so glad I traded for that. Oh, wow, we do not have many draft picks. Okay, I need to trade for this year's stuff now. Okay, that kind of caught me off guard that we had no third or fourth-round picks. All right, the Niners going to give me a fourth round this year to move back. Did I make a mistake? 61? Wait, I'm so confused. Ours listed as 18. Theirs listed as 60. I don't even know. Who cares? We got what we wanted, and I don't know what I want here. I might end up taking that 6'5" corner, even though I don't know if he's going to be any good. It's just 6'5" corner is 6'5" corner, you know? A lot of really good linemen here, though. I also do have Phillip Thomas. I'm going to take the 6'5" corner. Why the hell not? He's not the greatest, but, you know, good man coverage, really good press, little lacking in the athleticism, but fair enough. Hidden? Normal dev. That is, I mean, it's intriguing. We traded a 4th and a 5th this year for a 4th round pick, which is like a whole round up basically at this point. Going to end up grabbing the outside linebacker Thomas, who I believe is a pass rusher. We need depth as we lost Carl Lawson, and I don't think we have Dominique Robinson anymore. Anymore. So we needed the depth, so I'm going to grab him. I don't know if he's any good. Maybe I trade up for Greenland as well, get some depth at linebacker as well. But 6'2", 260, 21 years old. Normal dev with a little bit of athleticism. But like I said, I think he's a pass rusher. 260 kind of tells me that I assume I'm correct. I get so many draft picks all the time. I'm just going to give a 5th, a 6th, and 2 7ths for a 4th round pick from the Bengals, which is back-to-back here after Thomas. Actually, that's the wrong team. I just traded the wrong... No, I was wondering why they took that. I was like, that seems a little low. I mean, I think it actually was still probably fair in the end anyways, but... we didn't trade a 4th. I don't really care, dude. I really don't care. I don't need the draft picks at all anyway, so whatever happens. My mistake is their gain, but my mistake really doesn't matter because we're still cooking. A 4th this, 2 7ths this, and a 7th next for that pick that we thought we got in the first place. And we're going to be taking Copeland, the linebacker. Don't really even need a linebacker, but, I mean, I need to get rid of these picks somewhere. Look decent. Normal dev, but fair enough. We are now an 85 overall, so we will be hopefully improving upon that with more seasons under the belt. The overalls are very low, though. I gotta say, these guys are not looking too hot. But once again, we did make the big trade for Terry McLaurin, so, I mean, we're not really too worried about it. What about the pass rush? What the hell am I looking at? So he was a pass rusher, thankfully, and very good man coverage from Rich, so... I mean, 79 man coverage for a 6'5", 91 speed corner. That's not bad. All right, season 4, and I gotta say, Justin Fields' overall is not looking great. He's 27. He's 14K per upgrade for XP. Medium solid. Short is amazing. Deep is okay. You could definitely get away with these ratings, but man, I would love to see him go up even higher. It would be nice to get a dev up. We are, for the first season now of this rebuild, going to be rocking the Chiefs playbook, which I know is one of the better ones. Not the best, but one of the better ones for passing. And we'll be paying attention to see how much it changes things, which, if it does, I mean, we really didn't upgrade this team this season that much compared to any of the other seasons, other than Terry McLaurin, which I guess is pretty significant, to be fair. But... I mean, if it's that much better, I don't know what else I can do on the year. Try out the playbooks that are relevant to each team for a little bit, and then ultimately end up going to one of the OP playbooks to even have a chance, because otherwise you're just going to lose the same teams over and over and over again. But yeah, let's see if this is the magical year now that we've changed to the old gold grind of the Chiefs. I mean, it's a better year than last year, but it's definitely not, night and day. So I don't know. We'll see. But Tremaine Edmonds, that's a very fair contract. Stevenson, he's been a backup. We don't really even need corner, but I'm going to keep him. And then everyone else, for the most part, maybe a few bits and bobs will be who we'll go for. But everyone else is probably going to be gone. Obviously, Will Alexander is what I meant to say, will be the 5th-year option. Maybe we let it happen and just... re-sign him manually, we'll see. But, yeah, the guys we listed are the guys we're going to go for. The rest are gone. I'd be pretty disappointed if we miss the playoffs. Please don't. And we win, clutching up at the end. The Lions, one of the higher overall teams I was seeing throughout this season, went 6-11. So once again, playbooks, specifically that Lions playbook, it might be one of the worst in the game, which is really weird considering last year they were actually one of the best offenses in the entire league, which definitely throws me off, I will say. Fields definitely had more yards and seemingly more touchdowns before. Trying to look at the schedule here, but it is taking forever to load. We actually had a pretty rough start, and then, in the middle-ish, it was kind of really good. We had a bunch of wins. What is this? 5 wins out of 6 weeks, and then we lost 2. And so a lot of win-loss stuff, but we just won just a little bit more. We were like 1.5 steps forward, 1 step back on the season, which was good enough to make the playoffs at least, and take the division in general. But we'll take a look at the stats real quick. Justin Fields with 4,541 yards, 33 touchdowns. To boot. Don't even know where that comes from, but I just said it anyways. But let's take a look at the full team. 102.9 passer rating. It says it's 20th, so probably about maybe 9th best, just off the top of the head, because usually you have those guys that throw one pass for one, and it's like they're the number one quarterback in the league. But Fields, obviously, touchdowns are solid, picks are good, and then yards are way up there. Waddle stole a lot of touchdowns, did not have a very good yards per carry season, though. And DJ Moore with Komet, finally the season I wanted out of DJ Moore. Terry McLaurin, not so great. Clinton, pretty good. But yeah, you pretty much have to use one of the in-game specific playbooks like the Buccaneers. I don't know if they're still good this year, but the Chiefs, those types of teams, if you want any pass success, it seems. And then the pass rush, no matter what scheme I've changed to. I went from the Cleveland Browns. I did the Commanders. I did the Chiefs. It just doesn't seem like we're getting any numbers. And I got to imagine, because of how many times Hutchins has got the camp standout, that he's got to be almost 90 finesse, at least. 91 power move, not finesse, but power move, and he's struggling to even get to double digits. I don't know what to tell you there. I think it's just, a lot of the predetermined guys are the guys that are going to be good in sim. Jalen Johnson, another really good season for picks. Kicking ended up becoming Braden Mann. I don't know why the game would do this, but I'll fix that real quick. Still kicked well, at least. Braden Mann, 52.6 yards per punt, which is pretty good. Got blocked once, but it is what it is. And that be that for those guys. Let's take a look at the yearly awards now. 11th in offense. It might even flicker to defense last second. Nope, it doesn't. Hurts was the MVP. Dak Prescott, pretty much the same culprits. Typically Prescott's one of the highest because the Cowboys scheme in general. But Fields got on the list at number 9 for MVP. Looking at the NFC core or offensive players of the year, we didn't get any of these types of awards. What about QB? Number 6, fair enough. Best running back, not on the list. Number 9, actually, because of the touchdowns. DJ Moore, number 5, and that might be it there. O-line, not on the list. D-line, not on the list. Linebacker, number 3 for Joke. DB, number 7, and then kicker would have been a punter, actually, so wouldn't even have qualified anyways, even if he was perfect. The Super Wild Card Weekend! The Bears versus the Seahawks. Holy crap, is that their quarterback? Yo, the quarterbacks have been munching for the CPU classes. Is that who that was? Was that their QB? It showed Fields versus him. 232, looking more like 282. But let's take a look if we can beat the 87 overall Seattle Seahawks as they come out swinging with 7. We get 7 back. It's all tied up. They get 7 back, so they're up by 7. Now it's all tied up again. We seem to be slightly behind them, and now we're finally leading up by 10 now. Defense is doing okay, but did give up a touchdown. The Seahawks have the 4-point lead. Chicago driving down, can't get the job done. If they score a touchdown here, the game will be over, and we're down by 11. That might be it. The Bears offense trying to move, going backwards every time. Is this a field goal? This is not a field goal. They're going to be throwing this ball. Hell, I don't even know if they have the freaking ability to get it with the time that's left. That's a little bit of a question mark, and I just threw it right into trouble. This is going to be a bad Madden for me because I am a bot. Pretty sure I had Cole Kmet open last second, who would have been a first down. Yeah, right there. Obviously, the pressure got there a little bit, but we had enough time to wait one more second. Also, probably had Clinton underneath on the in. Just kind of forced it, and obviously you can't really say DJ Moore because the corner left it as soon as he realized the ball was out. So, good old PKer botting it up yet again. Going to be missing even close to the Super Bowl after that terrible decision. But in general, it would have been a long shot anyways, but still. Would have loved to at least have a long shot rather than no shot. Fields is actually pretty good. He only threw 1 interception. Walker was the difference, though. Their run game actually exists. Running backs are people, too. Pay your running backs, everyone, apparently. In Wosu with a 2-sack performance. And then, of course, Martin with the only interception, which probably played pretty big of a factor. As that's the real big difference between the two teams. I guess the run game as well, but everything else looked pretty similar. Just the score and then that pick. That extra drive, which obviously we were driving there, made all the difference. So definitely a better season, 10-7 with an 88 overall. One of the better rated teams in the league. Maybe the highest overrated, very close to at least, which is pretty impressive. We have the Raiders versus the Falcons. Falcons are almost always in it. And as far as the Raiders in-game playbook goes, I actually do like them quite a bit. At least last Madden. Don't know if they're still that way, but got to imagine that correlates to how they play in Sim. And the Falcons have won yet another Super Bowl. Could we see a dev up for Fields, though? I freaking pray for it. And we do! Nice! Okay, so DJ Moore goes to X Factor. Cole Kmet, I don't know if he was X Factor or not, but this was a very big season for us. Even if we didn't actually win the Super Bowl or even get close to it, the dev ups for the key core players of this offense were very crucial. 91 overall for DJ Moore, who recently just got a 4-year, 72. This is good stuff. This is very good stuff. That 4-year 72 obviously looks like an underpay now, but beforehand it looked like an overpay as he was playing like a number 3 almost, honestly. But Cole Kmet has really picked it up and made himself an X factor. His offense is kind of looking elite. We may need to go for running back, so if there's a guy or I maybe can make a trade for one, I might do it because that's the last thing we need for this offense to be truly, truly elite. And then I don't know if Brisker was already an X factor. I don't think he was, but Jaquan Brisker, who's maybe not developed super well in ratings, but apparently an X Factor. Was that maybe it was last season? I don't even know, but X Factor, or maybe he got it in training, because I think he can actually get that this year. Like with every Madden, though, his zone coverage not developing well. Better than most times, though, because normally he just doesn't even get a single zone upgrade, but for some reason he's just built with his archetype to never get zone upgrades. D-line still the same, sadly, and then I can't really keep up with the linebackers because they're always just good. I don't know if they're X Factor good, but Little might have went up in dev. He did. He's an X Factor, and then I'm pretty sure Edmonds already was because we signed him to that 4-year 68, I think, maybe 72 as well, actually. But this is actually a pretty good team. The youth is still there, and then the core players that are a little bit older do have X Factor. So if we're looking at what we need to replace, maybe a true veteran proven running back would be the number one by far. And then keep looking for DN/DT as they really haven't worked out, even if they are supposedly supposed to be the future. They haven't really worked out, so those are really the needs, if any. And we'll go on to, I think, what I'll call the last season. 5 years is usually the cutoff point for me because otherwise the video is A, way too long, and B, at that point, it's not even a rebuild anymore. It's like, you didn't even do anything special. Time just healed all wounds. It just happens, right? It just happened. The AI could have rebuilt the team in 5+ years, so we're doing all right, but the playbook limitations and a little bit of sim unluck or unluckiness, if you will, has kind of hurt us. And I was thinking about not giving the 5-year option and just sign him long term, but this D-line has really not played well, so I'm going to give Alexander the 5-year option because I don't know if he's the future long term. We'll have to see. But obviously Eddie Jackson is still pretty good. I got to tell you, man, I'm a little excited about this because, for our Bears franchise, I might not have to replace him. 4 years down the line or whatever, he's still usable. And honestly, if he especially has the mentor tag, at that price, why not just keep him? It's the last season anyways. Keep that veteran presence, a long-term, player for the Bears, a staple of this team, and he signs back for a 1-year 4. We've got our depth. And I honestly wonder if maybe I should have just started Dalvin anyways, even if his regression, was hard and his overall wasn't great anymore, because our running back that we had, debatably costed us the season, really. We made the playoffs, but Dalvin Cook, even with a regression point of the last season, was still pretty good, but he did regress really hard, and I decided, I'm going to go with the young guy, see if we have any option there. This is the wrong button. I did not want to see this. And, see if we can develop that running back, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So free agency could be very big for us here. Very crucial for our chance to win a Super Bowl if we're going to get it. All right, so free agency was insanely weak yet again. So we're going to move right on to the draft, and I think the position of need isn't really edge rusher, but that is going to be the position I'm going to be going for, which I had 2 players, and one of them just went. So we will be going for the other player right now, and it shouldn't cost that much. It probably shouldn't even be a 4th round because the trade for Jalen Carter was like 4th round, and that was like, even though, no, it was actually shorter, wasn't it? So yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on there, but I guess this is still cheaper in a way, a 5th this and a 7th next year, or to be fair, that's a 7th the next year, which, really has no value, but let's trade. Bro, what is going on here? This is so bull. And boom, done. I was going to make a trade for a running back. I could have gotten Pierce. Could still get him. But as of right now, that's not necessarily the plan. There's a couple of okay running backs a little bit later on in the draft. Clinton is probably the number 1 I'm going to go for the start of the 3rd round. But this trade up was, of course, for, where the hell is he? Jeff Goodson. decently athletic, 6'3" edge rusher. 4.65, not the greatest. The left side is misleading, hopefully, because the combine looks pretty decent, and he is hidden, and it really wasn't. A 4.65 should be faster than 81 speed, but because it did say solid, I think it played that factor, and we have Khalil Mack back, apparently, based on number, but fair enough. Let's move on to 21. And you could argue it's a little early because he's at 3 to 4, but I'm just going to go now instead of trading down. I can't be really bothered. Keyshawn Clinton, ball carrier vision, a break tackle, a bunch of A's. Speed is okay, but once again, he is on the bigger side, so we're hoping he's decent, and he's hidden, and he's actually pretty fast. It's tough because I know that a guy like Pierce right now would be the best option, but if we had a couple of seasons with Clinton, maybe he would be the best option, but man, if we're talking about like pure in-game situation, I really should just go for Pierce. I really should. We trade for this, a 5th next, and then the center, Griffith, for pick 65 in the 3rd round for the Patriots, which we'll be using on a lineman, ironically enough, but at this point, just trying to get as young as possible, and this guy is like a round 1 projected, so I couldn't really pass on him. J.J. Sands, bunch of A's. Ironically enough, this will be the guy that's not hidden. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what it is, but the players with the highest, like, grade, like, true talent are always the worst for dev. I don't understand what it is, but that has happened to me so many times now in the last 2 Maddens that it's not coincidence. It's trend, really. Could use a DT and trap, but I don't know. It kind of feels like a trap. I don't think it's worth it. Actually, we have pick 21. I'm going to trade up with the Dolphins. It is worth it. All right, trap with a finesse. 90 strength, 78 speed, and hidden. I will say I don't like the numbers, but when something's in the 90 or it has in the 90s or it has a 0 on it, it does look like really beastly. So there's the one positive, but that is pretty much the rest of our draft. Some of these rebuilds that are intended to be realistic start to get a little unrealistic near the end when the desperation really kicks in. So I do apologize for that, but yeah, I also haven't really watched anyone else's rebuilds or anything like that, but is the 2027 off the screen for everyone, or do I need to resize my screen? Because that is starting to become not like an issue, but it is kind of like, well, let's just fix it if it's not hard to do, But yeah, that's how my life's going. How about you guys? The running back is a 77 overall. Wow, he's actually kind of beastly. Goodson was hidden, right? I guess we'll take a look at Goodson, move him to, like, I don't know, left end. I think that's the position we've been really struggling at. 81 power move, looking really good, actually. Let's take a look at left end. Maybe he's a superstar, maybe he's an X-Fender. I don't know, but let's see it. Oops. And boom, 56, I guess. Only star. I think that's one of the positions I'm going to be boosting hardcore in future rebuilds is edge rush, because even though we have a youngster that's like got really good finesse, they're struggling to win, get sacks, and in general, not developing quickly. But Clinton, who obviously has a bunch of morale boosts, or maybe it's coaching stuff, because I haven't really seen if they changed the talent trees much. Bunch of bonuses, but in general, even without them, very, very good. So we'll see what his dev is. Maybe he's like a superstar. Maybe he's an X Factor, which he's not, but he is still really good. And if we don't go for Pierce, which what team trades for a running back, and that trade includes a first-round pick in 2023 plus? Nobody. But once again, I cut out a rant I had about somebody talking about, like, oh, I can't believe you used the Chiefs playbook already, cheesing out the gate. There's things that work, and there's things that don't work in life even. And you kind of have to do what works, right? And what works is a true talented running back that is proven, and without them, you're not going to run the ball well. And it brings a tear in my eye. I'm just kidding. It's freaking humid again in here. But I think I need to go for running back. Pierce makes the most sense. They have a backup running back. There's an 80-plus superstar as well. I mean, if there's any running back to get, it would be Pierce. I think this is insanely dumb in general, but because this is the last season of this rebuild, I'm going to go for him. I lied. Never mind. We are not going to get him. He is way too costly. All right, here we are with the final season, giving Clinton the start because he's very similar to Waddle, but way faster and 3 years younger. And, I mean, the rest of the skill positions look really, really good. Looking at the defense, the linebackers are the best in the league, hands down. Corners are pretty solid. The DBs are pretty solid. And the D-line is young, but there is quite a bit of talent around here. I wonder what Alexander's ratings look like, but this is actually a pretty good D-line. Alexander has 85 finesse. It's not great, but it's definitely... definitely solid. All right, DeAndre Little needs a massive contract. It ain't little contract. How good actually is he, though? 25-year-old, 87 overall X Factor. Once again, for the billionth year in a row, EA has, wow, look at that block shed, has just ignored the specifications of the difference between an edge rusher and an off-ball linebacker. It's great. It's really great. So we're going to have to pay this guy this crazy amount of money, which normally I wouldn't do, but he is actually pretty absurd. Cole Kmet has been great ever since he has, got that dev up, really. So a 4-year 49, even though I wasn't going to return, this offer is getting really tempting. Okay, that's really interesting that he just didn't want to return. That's news to my ears. But as far as re-signings go, Gray for sure, Clinton for sure, Hutchins, I guess. Gibson, I think we can do better. Wright, we will resign, and Bozeman is an option. Same with Boykin. So, yeah, those are the guys. We're headed to the playoffs, and we legitimately might miss on the final season. Like, we legit might. Okay, we won, and the Lions lost, so it doesn't matter. But 8-9 for the third highest overall team in the entire league. I checked. It was the Chiefs at number 1 at 91 overall, and then technically the Niners are 90 overall as well. I just said third because, I just went with the best whatever. But 8-9, dude. 8-9. Are you serious? This good of a team. And it doesn't matter what the playbooks are. The game is just like, screw it, dude. You suck. Clinton, though, I gotta say, as a rookie, one of the better rookie seasons I've seen in a while. I mean, we've seen so many. Late last Madden, the early already into this Madden, 3.3, 3.4 yard per carry seasons from rookies. I mean, honestly, I don't know what the numbers are, but I would imagine even for rookies in the NFL these days, the average is easily over 4. Like, it seems like the yards per carry keeps going up and up and up for these youngsters. But DJ Moore, another 1,000-yard season, so finally showing off what he's got. The tackles combining for 28 sacks allowed. Love that. Sack totals still suck no matter what scheme we run on defense. Kicker great, punter okay. Kick return, punt return game. It seems like we had 7 whole kick returns on the year. Someone actually legitimately tell me that the sim isn't broken. 7 kick returns on the year. Okay, are they being quirky because now I'm pretty sure you can fair catch it inside the 25 and even if you're outside of the end zone, it still counts? Is that what there's predetermining that there's going to be a lot of touchbacks this year or something like that? I don't know, but that's still really absurdly low. Any other award wins? We got Rookie of the Year with our running back, which for once kind of seems deserved. And we also got O-Line of the Year with Zach Barrett. Interesting. That's kind of sick, actually. But here we go for the wild card round, going against the Rams. It's been so long that the Rams have turned it around, which really isn't true because they're an 81 overall, but they're still in the playoffs. That's all that matters. A snow game, man. I mean, I don't think Wisconsin and the Midwest is the most interesting place in the world, but because of snow, I just don't think I could ever leave. And I don't mean that type of snow, like, hey, what up, bro? You got a little something for me? But, yeah, I just love it too much. But here, the Bears trying to make the most of their advantage against an LA team, and they're going to get it, a 3-point lead, and winning against the Rams. Not the hardest thing to do, but, hey, with that score, with the snow advantage, technically, and look at the numbers, damn near identical, a little bit more inaccurate from Fields, but looking at the rushing numbers, wow, Clinton was terrible. This reminds us of our Lions rebuild too, where you can't run the ball without a proven guy, and it's really disappointing, but we won the game, we're moving on. But here we go, we at least won a playoff game in this rebuild. The Bears are not the easiest team in the world to rebuild, and in general, the sim seems to be all over the place right now. But we're going to see if we can do it. The Niners, one of those teams that are up there in overall, tied for the second highest with us at 90. So this is a kind of titan of a matchup. But here we go, forcing Justin Fields to be that quarterback, that passer type. Let's see if that can get us a Super Bowl. 21-7, not looking great here. Defense isn't doing well, but offense not much better. 14 points. The defense actually does hold up there. It's 21-all right now. Defense giving up the touchdown, but there is a chance. Offense can drive down for the game tire or lead if they decide to go for 2. They get it. Not a lot of time left. You know what? I think this team should play for overtime. I really do. So let's see if they get the extra point. They do. And this is kind of the reason why I wanted them to do this, because I was worried that they were going to lose because of an aggressive Niners team, and it doesn't matter. They lose the game. Oh! What the hell? Pick right after a pick. And we're into the championship round. I have never seen that before. 99 times out of 100 in previous Maddens at least, if you got the pick, or you threw a pick, got a pick, whatever, the team would just hold it off. Why is everything like really like... Look at his hat. It's like moving weirdly. Justin Fields' shoulder pad was moving weirdly. But they just run it out. Not this time. Fields was great, but that interception could not have come at the worst time. But luckily, Jalen Johnson's like, bro, I've got you. Saves the day. Look at McCaffrey. Really consistent running. 9 was his longest, so it wasn't like a big run inflating the numbers. Unbelievable. Interceptions. Both came right at the end of the game. I can't believe Jalen Johnson killing it like that. Jake Moody missing a field goal, and by some sort of miracle, we have made it to the championship round. Wow. Championship round. I've seen the Ravens made it to the championship round. I don't think I've seen the other teams on this side, even though the Cowboys are an 86 overall. This looks like a tough battle to try and win. All right, going to the end of the game, losing by 7 to the Dallas Cowboys, 7-7 for the Bears. 14-7 over us. 17-7. Still 17-7. Come on, do something. 17-10. 24-10. 24-17. And there's a chance here that it's all tied up with 4 minutes left. Defense, come on, make a play. It's not looking good. This is the Cowboys after all. And they are going to just walk it out. They don't kick the field goal. Now, realistically here, we obviously should have lost this game. But hey, I'm playing it how it lies. We still may lose. A field goal wins it, and they win. I'm just saying, technically we should have lost, right? But we didn't. We didn't. I'm going to run with it. EA Sim is so crap. I'm just going to run with it. I don't even care. Cry all you want. I didn't cheat. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't come out of the game and save, a situation where we were on the other side of it. Maybe I will in the future, to be fair, but not in this one. We won fair and square in the terms of Madden Sim. All I did was sim. We watched it happen. And I don't know what kind of crystal meth of XP Clinton is getting, but like and another speed. He literally just had an upgrade point before this game started. Where the hell was it? It was just before it started, right? 1 to speed. Oh, was this? Oh, okay, never mind. It was the other guy. It was the other running back, Waddle. I'm mistaken the two. Hutchins is already pretty good with his pass rush, so we're going to go with the run blocker, run stopper. Maybe he sucks because his number 61. That might have actually played a factor. If I was an edge rusher wearing number 61, I'd feel pretty crap about myself, I ain't going to lie. But let's go straight to the Super Bowl where could it actually be the Ravens? The two most mobile, deadly runners at quarterback not facing each other, as it's the number 1 overall rated team in the Kansas City Chiefs, who have lost 1 game all season long. Oh, Lord. Running Clinton is actually a superstar, which is pretty awesome. He also has an upgrade point. Again, got a speed upgrade. Let's go elusive. Let's see these speed upgrades. I got a speed upgrade with Waddle, and then I got, Clinton some upgrades, and he got a speed upgrade, so pretty insane. It's not bad, but yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I want to change the abilities just in case we have to come in. Anything decent? These all really suck, so I don't even care. But let's take a look at the other dev-ups if we add any. Maybe defense. I'm trying to think. Does not. Oh, Jalen Johnson, I think, might have went to X Factor. He wasn't. I don't think he was X Factor before this season. Was he? He was not, so he's an X Factor now, which is pretty clutch because he's up there in age now. He worked out. It's safe to say he worked out. But 86 overall, Justin Fields leading his Bears to a Super Bowl. Could be the Cinderella season. But then again, it is the Chiefs, so this could really mean anything. Win or lose, I'm glad that we did have this season. It makes for a pretty good ending, even if we do lose. Rashee Rice is an X Factor. I actually seen earlier, maybe a season or two ago. They only had 3 receivers, and he was like a 78 overall X Factor. I don't know how he did that, but he apparently devs pretty well, or at least he did in this realm, as we are going to be playing for all the marbles here against the highest rated team in the game, a team that has won many Super Bowls over the last 2 seasons in Madden, and of course, even in real life, a lot of Super Bowls in recent history. 7-all, keeping up somewhat. They missed the extra point. That could be huge. They're now up by 6, now up by 13, up by 6, and with that punt, I do not imagine we win this game. And yeah, that will... Oh, no, it's the third quarter. Okay, well, it doesn't matter anyways. They're up by 21. They need a miracle. They get the touchdown. They're not going to get the stop. Will they? They actually do get the stop. There's a chance. There's a little bit of a chance here. They on 4th and 8 get a touchdown. This is almost Cinderella stuff. I'm so bad at the game this year. I really don't even know if I should be in on this. We're going to go man coverage. We're going to give him man coverage. We're going to hope we get some pressure with Hutchins. Oh, they're actually going to run? No, they're not. We force Mahomes over. Bro, how do you let Mahomes on the last play of the game of the Super Bowl get like 4,000 yards? You've got to be kidding me. Could you imagine? And I even tried to pull off the edge, and he's just like, he's getting held on for his life. 3rd and 2, the game is pretty much over anyways because the clock, not even just the clock, but the yard line. And also, am I like losing my mind here, or did somehow they waste more clock than they should have been able to? Was the team not calling timeouts the moment they had a chance? There was 1:40 on the clock, fresh set of downs, and I call the timeout. No, we had 1 timeout left, actually. No, I'm not wrong. We should have had about 20 seconds here as he kicks it. And they just, like, wasted all the clock or something. The Super Bowl ends on a missed field goal. Like, what am I even... It ends on a missed field goal by the team winning by 7. I don't know what I just witnessed there, but at the same time, we got here because of dumb BS sim. So us losing because of dumb BS sim still is what it is. This is almost really close to the Eagles like Super Bowl, right? Where Jalen Hurts killed it in his first Super Bowl, but Mahomes just won. They willed it for a win. The Bears defense, which we knew was a problem, the main problem going into real life going forward is that defense, and ultimately it's the reason we don't win a Super Bowl. That and the fact that we couldn't run the ball in the slightest. What are those numbers? And even though it was a pretty successful rebuild based on team building and in the end making the Super Bowl, we do fall short of winning the big one by a score of 35-42 against this Kansas City Chiefs. So no rebuild, win, no Super Bowl in this one, but at the end of the day, it was still a pretty successful one, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. We're going to take a look at some of our key players from real life and some of our maybe drafted guys, because we actually did draft some pretty damn good players. Whether they really fully developed or not is another story, but DJ Moore, one of the guys, 93 overall, very good. Short route kind of sucks, which is like his go-to, so it's really stupid that he wasn't upgraded for that, but very good across the board. Even the short route being a little low, it's still fine. You can work with that, obviously. Cole Kmet, a guy that I've been really debating on what is the direction of our Bears franchise that'll be coming out at some point in the future for the online league. What is his best case, right? He is a 90 overall now, never went up in speed, but he is a giant. He's a very tall guy. His run block's all right. His route running's decent. His catching's really good. And we had Freiermuth with the Steelers, and he was perfectly fine as well. Speed isn't the only thing that matters, especially at the tight end position, but we'll have to pay attention to that position because while it doesn't mean everything, at the same time, if you can get a guy that is fast and he makes it that much easier, why not, right? Insane deep threatening Clinton, 99 speed, 99 excel, at 98 agility. Didn't really get much of a chance to be a starter, but he kind of showed up a little bit later into the rebuild, with a 700-yard season the last 2 years, or at least this one. Clinton already very fast, but really sold us down the river when we really needed him most in these playoffs. And then Fields, obviously Barrett got the dev up from winning O-line of the year. Fields' deep accuracy never got there, but everything else is really solid. He's insanely fast, and I expected more, but it is Madden after all. Certain teams, certain players just don't get the sim luck. And then while this team wasn't the youngest in the world in the offensive line, they actually put together some really good blocking seasons where they really weren't allowing much sacks. While Tevin Jenkins actually looks pretty good here, he's still really low overall, right? This many years down the line, guys like him or Darnell Wright should be probably a little bit better than this. 26 years old. Finesse blocking is terrible, but he's a really good power blocker. Obviously, when we're playing in that franchise, we're going to be balancing it out a little bit more than likely. But right now, he kind of looks like he's built to play guard. So that's that. Braxton Jones, I mean, he's an 83 overall, really never developed either. 28 years old. Probably should be a little more balanced than the rest, and that is kind of the case outside of that insanely high run block power. But pretty good offense. It's just the defense fell short in the biggest game, sadly. Looking at Edwards is long gone. I don't know why I'm looking at progression history, but speed doesn't seem to have gone up, but block shed's great. Zone coverage is really great. He's a goon. He got to X Factor. He is the real deal. He is, as the kids say, him. Let's take a look at Joke, even though we didn't really, we weren't the ones that technically developed him. He was really good, but great zone coverage. Just needs that block shed up. And once again, especially more than ever with the slow UI, it's just a crazy ask to have, rebuilds where you're manually upgrading every team. If it's like a short-term rebuild or, like it's one rebuild where you don't really do much rebuilds, but, I want to get through every single team. Imagine trying to manually upgrade 32-plus users teams when there's like 300-plus upgrades per rebuild. It would take so long. And then once again, reiterating for the billionth time so far, especially with this slow UI where it takes so long for the command to actually come in, probably about 4 seconds or so for it to come in, usually 6+ to actually like get into the command you're going for. Jalen Johnson's speed never really got there, but insane coverage ratings, and obviously clutched up on our way to the Super Bowl. Without him, we would have never got there. Tyreek Stevenson, take a look at his dev. He was always a slot corner for us. I think he had 1 year where he was the starting number 2, but then we got a 6'4" corner. So obviously, probably not something that'll happen in real life. He actually projects to probably be, I wouldn't say a long-term starter because you just never know where the direction is, but a starter for sure, whereas, we replaced him almost immediately with Nasir Gray, which with his size and now almost 99-man coverage, starting off I think at 81 or 82, it was hard not to grab him. And then D-line, obviously, none of the DTs like Jervon Dexter end up becoming anything for us, but I also don't know if that's going to happen in the franchise we're playing in because they are insanely raw in the game. That D-line is just not good by really any measure. Will Alexander, 87 finesse, so pretty good. We end up getting that backup. He could maybe take a spot at some point, especially since we are insanely broke. But the last player we're going to be looking at, Mr. Brandon Chapman, the 391-pounder that we never replaced on the D-line, but he was our best option. 88 block shed, 77 power move with a 99 strength. That's kind of a busted build. But, yeah, that's going to be it for our Chicago Bears realistic style rebuild. We did make the Super Bowl, just did not win it. So we won the Super Bowl year 2 with the Lions in a crazy fashion. Didn't win another one. And then the Bears, we at least got to a Super Bowl, but didn't win that one either. But it was still a success by, most measurable means, in my opinion. If you guys have a team you want to see next, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, maybe leave a like. It really, really helps out the channel. Maybe subscribe if you're new. We do a ton of franchise stuff on the channel. And like I said, plan on rebuilding all the teams at least once. And then usually, when trades happen or, updated rosters from the draft later on, way down the line, or, trades from the draft time, whatever it may be, we'll end up doing those again. So we usually do about 70 rebuilds a year pretty much. So definitely be, maybe not 70 sounds like a lot. 50, maybe 50 to 60. Maybe you want to stick around for that. And regular franchise like our Texans franchise, soon to be Bears player franchise from Superstar mode, experiments, all that stuff. Maybe subscribe. If you're not new, I really appreciate your continued support on the channel. And it really is cool seeing a lot of you guys that are from 3, 4, 5 years I've seen even ago subscribe for that long. It means a ton to me. It's insane. And I appreciate it. Like I said, maybe follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel, PK Plays, which don't know when the uploads will start back on that. And I've been debating on making another channel, a third channel, where I don't know if I maybe move some Madden stuff over to it, but I've been thinking about, when NCAA comes out, even though I'm not a huge college football fan, I would love to play the game as I love as many different football games as I can get, and maybe that's where I would move something if I ever tried 2K again or something, different games that are non-playthrough / story-based, like PK Plays is, Star Wars Jedi Survivor or, Starfield, story-driven games versus like kind of mainly sports games or one-off games like Zombies would probably move over to there. So if there's you want to see that as a channel, maybe I'll make one of those and you guys can subscribe there for basically future NCAA game play whenever that comes out, assuming it still is. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys come back for next video, which should be, 3 tomorrow, I would plan on. But until next video, see ya.